Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I've got lots to share with you today. Today I went and worked out with the program that I started last week, and it was really hard, but it was really awesome. First thing I want to do a shout out to my friend Jamie. Happy birthday. You might have already seen the post that I did earlier with our sweaty selfie. I think it's awesome that she made the choice for herself to get up on her birthday and do this first, because that's the kind of thing that for me in the past, if it was my birthday, I'll be like, I ain't getting up. I'm staying in bed. I'm treating myself. And if you do that, that's okay. That's fine. But that just really inspired me today to think that it can still be a part of a special day. Like, this is a good thing, doing something good for yourself. So, way to go, Jamie. Happy birthday. Proud of you. Another shout out to my friend Adrienne, who is the one who really got me started doing this. And she has been super, super sick for the last few days. And I talked to her yesterday, and it's not COVID, guys. It's something else. But she's going to be okay. But, you know, when you start a workout and you really get into it, and she started this like maybe a week or two before me, and then you get sick or you have an injury, that's tough, man, because then, you know, you lose some of what you really built up. But no doubt Adrienne's going to feel better soon, and she's going to come back strong. I can't wait to see you back at our workouts. Adrienne, feel better. I like doing these shout outs because, again, community is so huge. It's so important. This morning when we were working out, we were doing like a lot of running today, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But my goodness, there were people passing me who were like killing it and going, good job, you're doing great. That's so amazing. Just encouragement is so important. And I want to say thanks to everybody who's been encouraging me, whether it's right here on these posts. I've gotten messages in Messenger. I've gotten texts, people that have seen me in person that have encouraged me. Thank you. That means the world to me, and it is so, so appreciated. And I'm going to mention that again later too. I have my takeaway today is going to be later at the end, and it's what I felt is maybe my best takeaway yet. So this morning, first thing, mom probs. And I had thought about this before I started. If you've had a baby the natural way, you know what I'm going to say. So last week, there was not a whole lot of jumping involved. Today, we were supposed to do some jumping jacks. I did like 3, and then I was like, that ain't gonna happen. So next time I will be prepared, if you know what I mean. And I really did think about that last week, and then I didn't do it because that's not something I usually have on hand. So I will take care of that next time, just in case. Because look, I've had 2 giant babies. Okay. If you don't already know this, you're going to think that I'm pretty amazing. My first baby was 10 pounds, 13 ounces. And yes, I had him the way God planned it. And my second one was 9.5. So she just walked on out. But when you've done that, things are a little bit different. Your body is a little bit different. And it might go back to the way it was to a point, and you can work on that. But even though I did work on that, I ain't gonna be jumping at a trampoline park anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. So if you're watching this and you're not a mom, you might be like, boing. But It's just a fact, but it's okay. It's worth it. I have 2 amazing children because of it. But workouts, you know, over 35, over 40, it's different than when you're 20, 25. It's just a fact. So there was that, but here was the win for today. Y'all, stop what you're doing. Listen to this for a second. I ran today. I ran today. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't for very long. It wasn't very fast. But my body made a running motion. Most of today's training was kind of interval type stuff. The first part was you run for 10 seconds, you walk for 10 seconds, and back and forth for, I don't know how long we did it, but during that, I ran. My body moved faster than a walk. My feet left the pavement. I didn't fall and kill myself. I didn't pass out. And that felt good to be able to do that. And I don't think that if I had not been doing the walking and pushed myself with the walking like I have, I don't think I would have been able to do that. I have no idea how fast my progress is going to be at this point, but progress is progress. And I'm super proud of even attempting to do that. Now, the rest of the time when other people were running, they were running and I was power walking, but I was power walking. I wasn't walking. I wasn't bent over trying to breathe. I was power walking the whole time that we had to walk. Did I get all the exercises? Can I stay in a plank position to do the different plank exercises that we're doing? Not yet. But you know what I can do? I can do a 10-second plank now because I've been trying it every day. And I do have a sore place on my stomach, like a muscle that's like pinching when I do planks or when I do sit-ups or anything with ab work. Keeping an eye on that. I've had a hernia before, and I've had a lot of abdominal surgeries in the past, and so my stomach wall is weaker than it should be. Plus I haven't exercised it in 14 years. We've been over this. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Walking, running, arm exercises, leg exercises, none of that is bothering me, but when I go to do abdominal exercises, it is bothering me. So I'm gonna keep a check on that for sure. Don't wanna make any kind of injury any worse, definitely. And want to address that if I really do feel like it's gonna be more than just something that's sore. The other thing while we were doing the running, power walking part, I've been thinking I really would like some kind of fitness tracker. And since I got the new iPhone, I would love to get an Apple Watch, because obviously that's going to be compatible and it's going to do everything you want it to do. I would really like to know not just how far I'm walking in my steps throughout the whole day as opposed to when I'm holding my phone, but I'd like to know my heart rate, if I'm getting in my target heart rate. I'd like to know my sleep patterns. The last couple nights I haven't slept real well, but prior to that I've been on a really good run of getting good sleep. Like for the last 3 weeks it's been really good, where it was a little problematic before that. So I'd really like to start tracking that. So my question to you is, do you have a fitness tracker? Do you have the Apple Watch? Oh, and the reason that I'm not going to just run right out and buy an Apple Watch is because they're pricey. So, that's the kind of thing I'd really, really have to save up for. So would you recommend going out and getting like a cheap knockoff fitness tracker for like $30, or put that $30 towards an Apple Watch and wait it out? Let me know in the comments what you would do. or if you have a suggestion for a good one. I know I could get like a regular just Fitbit, but is that going to be compatible with my iPhone? Tell me, what's your experience? I want to know more about that. I think that would help me with the whole motivation thing, because obviously from the Map My Walk, that has been really, really motivational for me to see the data, which I never would have thought that about myself. But I'm not a big data person. I'm a big just like observe people, and that comes from being a teacher and kind of my philosophy of human to human stuff, that it's not all about assessing. But it does kind of support the concept that we should tell kids what their scores are on tests and assessments, because if they don't know what their goal is, they may not work quite as hard to improve. Like, you have to identify, where are you now and where do you want to be? And some people will say, oh, you never tell a child their reading level. Oh, you never tell a child their score on a standardized test. Well, if we're going to do them, because I'm not a huge fan of standardized tests anyway, but if we're going to do them, you need to tell kids where they started so that they have an idea of where they're going. That goes back to competing against yourself. Like, that's the most important thing. You don't tell them where other people are. There might be that rare kid who thrives on competition and that's how they're going to improve. But the majority of kids, innately, they want to improve. They want to do better. So, all right, that was kind of off track, but teaching is on my brain right now. Today is the day that the governor is supposed to announce information about schools reopening in North Carolina and what the guidelines are going to be for that. So that's definitely on my mind today as a teacher. And if you have a child, or if you're a teacher, or if you're involved in education in any way, maybe even if you are not directly involved, but you have employees who, have children, then it's a big deal right now. So that actually relates to whether or not I'm going to be able to continue the current workout that I'm doing. And I can't remember if I told you guys that this is, I think I did, like in the first video, but like, this is a free trial that I'm doing with this particular workout program. I have like a 3-week free trial. Obviously that's a good reason to try it, because it's kind of risk free. And I'm not going to say what the workout is. Some people have asked in the comments and I've answered, but I don't want to get into any kind of trouble with that particular company. I'm certainly not a spokesperson for them, but if you want to know what it is, want to message me and I can let you know. You can message me directly. But I'm trying to figure out if this is something that I can continue with. It's hard. It's really hard. It's pushing me. It's outside. I like that. I don't know what that would be like in the wintertime, but I really like it right now, especially early in the morning. I like that it's in the morning, even though I'm not a morning person, but it's so good to get up, get this done. It's definitely going to help me burn calories, for the rest of the day. But I've got to find something that fits. And time-wise, I don't know if the morning is going to fit. And they also do it in the evenings. But I don't know if that's going to conflict with anything that my kids have going on. So this afternoon's announcement will actually play a big role in that. But I'm hoping going forward today, I'm going to be able to do a little bit more planning and thinking about the fall, where I would have had a lot of that already done by now, as many of you would as well. It's, again, it's crazy time. But I believe that we've just got to roll with it. We've got to do the best that we can for kids and families. And I may touch on that again in another video, maybe in a separate video, depending on where I go with all this. By the way, why is lighting so much better in your car? Like, I'm looking pretty awesome this morning for my sweaty self. What is it about that? Like, on my porch, it looks like I've got shadows of death on my face. And maybe I'll just keep doing videos on the car. Anyway, moving on. That was kind of a squirrel tangent. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about for the first half. Second half, it's probably not even half, it's a few minutes. Because I've been talking a long time already. Here's my takeaway. I picked up my kids at their dad's house yesterday morning, and I still had all my workout stuff because I picked them up at like 8:15 yesterday morning. And the first thing is my son noticed, Mom, did you get any tennis shoes? It's funny what kids notice. Yeah, I sure did. We got in the car and I'm like, so, in case you didn't know, because you've been gone a week, I'm an iPhone person now, and like I work out, and I might be getting my own YouTube channel. And they just looked at me like, what? You do what? Huh? And then of course they went into, why can you have a YouTube channel and we can't have a YouTube channel? And I was like, we can discuss it. One's 13 and one is not. I'm big on the whole, you can't have an account for whatever until they're, number one, until you're the age that particular social media platform says you can, which is usually 13. So I have a 13-year-old and an almost 12-year-old. So I'm like, well, we can discuss this. And the maturity level has to be there as well. And I have to know that you would use it appropriately. And so far, all we have is one kid with Instagram and one kid with Pinterest. So nobody else, they don't have Facebook. They don't have Twitter. And the one that has Instagram hardly ever uses it. So I'm really glad there was no social media when I was a teenager, because that would have been an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. Speaking of disasters, I'm sorry I'm off track a little bit, but I want to show you something really quickly. This, I forgot to talk about this. I started my morning with some anxiety, and this is a little bit random, but last night I joined Nextdoor so that I could see if there was anything on there for my neighborhood, just because I was like, oh, I haven't found a neighborhood Facebook page for my neighborhood. And then somehow I figured out that it could be on Nextdoor, and it is. And they were talking about like bears being in our area, which I know that's not crazy, but it was apparently kind of recent. So when I was going out in the dark this morning at 5:15, I like turned the porch light on, turned the light on my phone. I'm like looking for bears, but there was no bear. But I want to show you like what there was. Okay, so let's see. And of course I can't flip the camera. We covered that the other day. Let's see if you can see. I hope you can see this. Can you see that white stuff behind the flower pot? I hope you can, because I can't see whether you can. But let me tell you what that is. So last night, I cleaned out my cat's box, which I do like every day. And it was already dark and it was raining last night. So I just took the little bag and set it on my porch, which I've done multiple times before in the last few months since we moved here. Well, I came out this morning and it was destroyed. Destroyed. So some little animal thought that that was going to be a little snack and dug into it. I don't know what kind of animal, but now I've got to go clean up a bag of poo that's on my porch and disinfect it and put it in the trash can. And I don't really want to do it, but I'm going to have to do it right now because I have tutoring students coming that are going to walk up on the porch, and so it's got to be gone. Anyway, that's nasty. So no more putting bags of poo or little bags of trash or anything else on the porch. It's going to have to go to the trash can. Okay, back to what I was talking about. So my kids, they're funny. And they weren't here but maybe 10 minutes, and we're talking about, like, we're standing in the kitchen talking about exercising. And they were asking me questions about what I was doing. And all of a sudden, like, one of them is, like, talking about the exercises that she does in her room. Well, I just said she, so you know it's my daughter. She's like, well, I do these exercises in my room. And then my son's like, Mom, will you pull my arms and stretch me? And then, he's like, will you play basketball with me later? And I was like, yeah, we can probably do that. And then I was like, we might. Sometime this week, I want us to go do a couple of active things. So then we're talking about exercising and what we're going to do. I didn't tell them they had to do that, but they saw my example. And many of you are active. Your kids see that you're active. They follow your example. I have not been a good example to my kids as far as exercising. And honestly, neither is their dad. And I'm not calling him out on that. That's not what this is about. That's just to say that my kids have not had a parent who has been a good example for exercising. And that's a huge loss for them. Now, we do encourage activities. My daughter danced for 9 years. My son plays basketball. He has played baseball. They both played soccer 1 year. At both houses, they have a basketball goal. At their dad's house, they have a pool that they can go to. So that's really good that they have that. But not personal exercise where we're really going out and trying to work on ourselves. So, of course, that reminded me of the scripture that talks about training up a child in the way they should go. And I feel like I do that really well on a spiritual level. I do it really well on a social emotional level, as far as what I provide for them, the discussions that we have, providing them with counseling when they need it. I certainly hope that I know that I'm providing a good foundation for them, mentally and intellectually, by supporting their education. All those things, all those pieces and parts, I know I do well. But am I providing a good example and training them up physically? We talk about nutrition. We do some good things with nutrition, but I'm not always on that 100%. That's an area for improvement. But this piece, the exercise piece, the physically taking care of your body, making it work hard, and improving it. I know for a fact, and that's no secret. That's nothing new. I've known that for a while. That's what I want to change. That's my takeaway today. No matter what I end up doing as far as exercising, that's the change I want to make, because that's not just a change in me. That's a positive change in them. So, do you have kids? Where are you in that journey? If you're out there killing it, you're awesome. You're my hero. Good for you. If you're not, if you're like me and you haven't been the best example as far as that goes over time, what can you do today? Can you take them on a walk? Can you take them with you to the grocery store? I know it's a terrible time right now to take your kids in the grocery store, but can you plan some meals? Can you plan some healthy meals? What can you do for your kids' bodies today? I'm going to be thinking about that and reflecting on that even more this week. So there you go. Again, how can you come out of this season that we're in, this crazy pandemic season? There are things that are in your control, even though there are a lot that are not. What can you take care of? What can you make better in this season? Think about that today. Have a good one.